A 42-point win for the Timberwolves over the Oklahoma City Thunder here in Game 3 to make it 2-1, and so many ways to frame this onslaught as Edwards and the Wolves come alive from three-point range, 20 of 40 from there. The T-Wolves now 5-1 at home this postseason. This also marks OKC's largest loss of this season, previously 27. So surpassing that by 15 points and waving the white flag somewhere there in the third. We got a series in Minnesota. CBS Sports NBA analyst John Gonzalez here to maybe, examine all that we saw on both sides. And I don't know where you want to start here. My eyes do go to that three-point shooting because it was the big question mark put in front of Minnesota. They shoot at 50% from the field after shooting sub 30% in games 1 and 2. But I'm not sure that there's one number that encapsulates what we just saw over this 48. What's your favorite number out of this game, John?
Yeah, that was a beating from beginning to end in every possible category. We can start with the three-point shooting, Joe Musso. As you mentioned, they shot 29%, the Wolves did, over games 1 and 2. As it turns out, and I looked at the numbers on this, 50% is better. They went 20 for 40 from three. It's amazing how much better you'll look when your three-point shot is falling. That's really been the recipe for them. They didn't change it up. They tried to get up as many shots as they could in game 1. They got up 51 three-pointers, 39, I believe, in game 2. The shot just wasn't falling. They get run off the floor. Tonight, it's the other way around. And in addition to that, a number that stood out for me, Joe, was the turnover margin. Oklahoma City turned it over 15 times, leading to 16 points for the Wolves. That's usually OKC's game. OKC, number 1 in turning over the opposition and number 1 in turning those turnovers into points generated. Tonight it was flipped on its head. Oklahoma City just could not get anything to fall offensively. And then the Wolves defense was really hyperactive. Julius Randle had the in-game interview and said, yeah, our defense came to play. We're knocking down some shots. It's amazing when we're playing at both ends of the floor. And then Anthony Edwards especially, he was much more aggressive in game 2. But in game 3, he was also efficient. 30 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 of 8 from deep. I would have liked to see him get to the free throw line a little bit more, Joe, just 2 free throws tonight. But you can't ask for everything in a game that you win by 42, which was, by the way, while we're talking numbers, 143 points, the most points that the Wolves have ever scored in a playoff game in their history. So that's a pretty good number.
I mean, we were pacing for 40-plus here from Ant-Man, sat him down for much of the second, and this game was all but over to that point. And I kind of want to go there next, maybe not numerically, but in terms of the intangible. What did you make of the lack of defensive intensity getting off the bus here for OKC? Because for all that they do to a box score, their identity comes at the other end of the court.
Yeah, surprising. It was definitely surprising because you're right. They use their defense to generate offense. As I mentioned, they love to get up and turn over the opposition and use that to create points. Coming into this series, they were scoring 24 points per game in the playoffs off of turnovers. That's roughly what Steph Curry was averaging in the postseason before he got hurt. So can you imagine just having like a defensive Steph Curry out there? But yes, you're right. They were completely flat coming out of this game. We've talked a lot about Oklahoma City and how in the first 2 games, they came out of the second half and used the third quarter to pull away from the Wolves. Well, the Wolves used the first quarter to jump all over Oklahoma City. Just 14 points for Oklahoma City in that first quarter. That's the fewest points that Oklahoma City has scored in any quarter this postseason. They were dead on arrival from the very beginning, and the Wolves just shot out of the gate like a rocket ship. It was really impressive what they did. So, yeah, if you're looking for what was going on with Oklahoma City, I guess their mind was back in game 1 and 2 in Oklahoma City, and now, we'll see how they respond. They got a lot of time to just sit around Minneapolis and wonder what went wrong, look at some tape, try to figure it out before game 4.
Some road woes as of late for OKC. Still a comprehensive unit there. We'll see what they come back with in game 4, but they did just allow 143 points, that being the most in a playoff game in franchise history for Minnesota. I know you can only win them one at a time, but if you're Minnesota, did this feel like 1+ something that you found a belief that on any given night you can be the better basketball team when looking at Oklahoma City?
Absolutely. I mean, Joe, they scored 72 points in the first half. In game 1, in the entirety of game 1, they scored 88 points. As I mentioned, most points that the Wolves have ever scored in a single playoff game. Also, the 42-point margin that they beat Oklahoma City by, worst loss that Oklahoma City has ever had. Terrence Shannon scored 15 points in 11 minutes, Joe. He had 6 points in 6 playoff games total before tonight. He had more points than any other Oklahoma City player, including the guy who was the MVP in SGA. And SGA was mic'd up during the game, and he even called all this stuff out. He said they were more physical than us right from the jump. The turnovers killed us. And he then said something else that I thought was really interesting. He said, we could still lose this series because of tonight's game, which if you are, after the first two games where you were flying high in Oklahoma City and then you go to Minneapolis and Minnesota and the Wolves just blow you off the floor right from the beginning, and all of a sudden you're even thinking about that, let alone saying it out loud that, hey, we're the #1 seed. We're the best team in basketball all season long. We won 68 games. We came in and dominated in the first round. And now here we are in the Western Conference Finals. And you're thinking about, okay, maybe this is a series now. Well, it is a series now. So, yeah, very impressive stuff from the Wolves tonight.
April 6 was the largest loss of the season for OKC, 27 points to the Los Angeles Lakers. They bounced back with a 16-point victory the next time out. We'll see what the bounce-back effort looks like. We sort of examined the positive side of the ledger here in Minnesota and what this win might mean. Any concern beyond just one loss in the grand scheme of a series for OKC that this could linger with the time to think?
I mean, yeah, they didn't play their best basketball at either end of the floor. They played their worst basketball, actually, probably of the entire postseason at both ends of the floor. SGA never really got going. Jalen Williams, who made All-NBA and also All-Defense, he didn't really look right. They got dominated on the boards. The points in the paint, they were dominated. And again, this is the thing that was like super unusual for them. They didn't take care of the basketball. Generally, the Wolves are a little sloppy with the ball. Generally, Oklahoma City is super stingy with their own turnovers, and they're super aggressive in creating other turnovers, and that was completely flipped on its head. And then the other thing was in games 1, 2, and 3 now, the Wolves put up a ton of three-pointers. They didn't make them in games 1 and 2. They made them tonight, and it really kind of got closer to what we saw from the Minnesota Timberwolves during the regular season when they shot the ball at a 39% clip as a team from deep, which was 4th best in the NBA. If you're Oklahoma City, first 2 games you're thinking, this is pretty good. They can't hit a shot. Our defense is amazing. Well, hold on a second. Don't forget that team that you're playing is a really good shooting team, and it finally kind of like progressed back to the mean, right? This game 3 effort was much more in line with the way that the Wolves shoot the ball from deep than the first 2 games were. The first 2 games, Oklahoma City's defense really shined. But in this one, the Wolves were like, okay, wait a minute. Let's just all remember that we can also play basketball pretty well and we can shoot the ball pretty well. And now we're going to show them on our floor.
We'll see what sort of effort is duplicated on either side in Game 4. That's coming your way on Monday night. John Gonzalez, appreciative of your time always. And don't forget, he's got more time. It's Beyond the Arc with John Gonzalez and Bill Ryder taking you through the latest news and notes across the league. And we are at the tip of the spear with only 4 teams remaining. What better time to get involved than right now? Download, subscribe, and enjoy Beyond the Arc.